Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of Set Lusting Bruce, your podcast all about Bruce Springsteen, his music, and mostly his fans. I am your host, Jesse Jackson. I've got a good one today. One of my favorite people to interact on social media is my friend Judy. I've been bugging her to join on the podcast, and she's been nice enough to join me. So, welcome to Set Lusting Bruce, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Looking forward to it.
For those of you who may not recognize your name or your voice, tell us a little about yourself.
Okay. Judy Kroll, and I live in a suburb of Philadelphia called Holland, but it is not the Netherlands. It's Holland, Bucks County. Let's see. I am 59 years old. I'm married, and I have one son, and he's going to be 24 years old. And as I had taken out a billboard on 95, he's in medical school. Just kidding. I didn't take out a billboard. But as a Jewish mom, I like to brag a little bit.
Should.
He's in his first year, and fingers crossed, that he'll be happy and he'll do some really meaningful things. I couldn't possibly love him more. I turned him on to all the great rockers, including
Yeah.
Bruce. So he's been to more than your average amount of shows. He's been listening to Bruce B Street Radio like pretty much in the womb.
Well, I joke about when I have someone who is a second generation fan like your son would be, or someone who grows up in the Philadelphia, Jersey area. I will say, because one of the questions I'm going to ask you in a few minutes is, when did you discover Bruce and what about him spoke to you? But when I ask someone that, especially second generation, I said, it's like asking them, when did you find out your parents used Tide washing detergent? It's just always been there. It just growing up, it's in the water.
Yeah,
No?
for him it is, but not necessarily for me.
Talk about, where did you grow up and what kind of music was the household listening to?
My parents were divorced. They split when I was like 5. So
Okay.
I guess they had different taste in music. A lot of what you call bubblegum music. Like we had this WIBG and WFIL, and it was just a lot of poppy type songs. I Kodachrome, which actually I've been learning to play guitar for the past 9 years. So I just learned that song. And of course the Beatles. My mom preferred Oobla Dee, Oobla Da, nothing too lyrically complicated. And my dad, I think he liked John Denver. He liked the Beach Boys, which he used to call the Beach Men. And he always and John Denver. My dad was always like a lyric type guy. He always needed to hear meaning in whatever he was listening to.
And often, did you embrace their music or were you searching for your own?
I was pretty much searching for my own. I mean, after like 4th grade, when like you get the Carpenters and you got Tony Orlando and Dawn knocked 3 times on the ceiling.
Sure.
And I think my first record album that I bought was Cheap Trick live at Budokan.
Okay.
And then I got the Cars, and I got Elton John. I got really into Elton John.
My first 8-track, that's how old I am, with my own money was Elton John's Greatest Hits.
Wait a minute, how old are you?
I'm 66.
Oh, okay. You don't seem that old. But
Yeah.
I don't mean that's old. But
no, I was born in 59.
I didn't start with 8 tracks. I started with albums. And to tell you the truth, I still have every album that I've ever owned. And I have a turntable. I never parted with any of my albums because music is basically second to religion for me. It got me through. I know you want to have fun, but I wouldn't be alive today if it wasn't for Springsteen's music. Like and a lot of literary works.
Yeah.
A lot of tragic heroes that I got exposed to in my English classes when I was in high school. At first, the group I listened to was Yes.
Okay.
We're talking when I was 15, okay, like 14, 15, and I still have every Yes album in order of when it came out. I could show you in my closet in a milk crate. So it was very interesting to go from Yes, who was progressive rock and really musical, like almost classical, and who knew
Yeah.
what they were singing about. That was some musicianship, I don't whether you were into them or not. And then I met someone in 10th grade in math class, a girl, a woman, not and she was like, "Oh my god, you have to listen to Bruce." So that was like going,
That was it.
like
So
100 I was like turning 180 degree, like from Yes, I'm sure you're familiar with John Anderson's voice, and singing about esoteric things. Just a little bit about the Vietnam War, Yours Is No Disgrace, but roundabout. And also, I think the first time I ever heard Stairway to Heaven, which is, the hairs on the back of my neck stood up, and I said to myself, this is a reason to stay alive. Like, I literally said this to me, like, this, God forbid, there's no music in wherever I was going, heaven or hell. Like, it wouldn't be worth it.
no,
You're depressed. Sometimes you think, especially as a teenager, you have a rough childhood or whatever. Like, one of the things that kept me alive was the inspiration of music. And honestly, what if there's no music on the other side? Sorry, I don't mean to get really heavy.
no, I love that. And because I had a similar experiences. I'm a short, fat, unpopular kid, dorky. The the First Baptist Church of Gillis was a huge factor in my life. I went Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday afternoon, Sunday afternoons. We would meet to play basketball at the church gym. All my social was around people from that church. And in fact, I did not drink alcohol partly because we moved around so much. I didn't have any peer pressures because I started freshman in a high school that I didn't know anyone. And it became part of my persona is someone I didn't drink. And I my experience was I grew up with AM radio. So
Right.
the FM station was for the druggies. I didn't realize that. And I went from listening to Kiss and all the AM hits and discovered the Beach Boys and Brian Wilson and all that harmonies. And to that it was like I'd never heard anything like it. So I get that feeling. So all right, so you're in 10th grade. Your friend says it feels like a scene from Blinded by the Light, right? That the movie. So talk to me about tell me that experience.
1981, and so she actually created a monster. So she said, "Oh my goodness, you have to listen to this guy." So I bought Born to Run. And like I said, my parents just were not well mentally. So anyway, but
Okay.
so I go in my room, the Beach Boys song "In My Room." It's like, oh,
Yes.
that was my salvation. And I had those big Princess Leia headphones that looked like,
Sure.
like a sofa cushion that you're wearing.
Yes, I know.
And I opened Born to Run on and opened up the jacket. And like Bruce said, like he does the albums to be listened to in a certain order because it was like morning and then it went till it was like supposed to be like morning till night, like an effigy kind of thing. And I just couldn't believe these characters that I was being introduced to, and the language and the poetry, and just again, it is Blinded by the Light. He was speaking to me. I just I was just absolutely blown away. He just took me to a completely other world. People ask me, what's your favorite song on Born to Run? And mine's Meeting Across the River. Change your shirt because tonight we got style. Like taking a chance. It's like because basically you have nowhere else to go. We gotta get a meeting on a man on the other side because yeah, freedom's just another word for nothing else to lose. Thank you.
Yeah,
Like
no,
I could talk to you in song lyrics for the entire.
totally get that. And were you a fan of you mentioned earlier that music and literature helped keep you sane. So
Like, I
were
mean,
you
I love the classic Catcher in the Rye, Holding Caulfield. He wanted to catch all the kids before they lost their innocence. I could really
yeah,
relate to him because he struggled so much. And then a lot of the tragic heroes, Willie Loman, Arthur Miller's play. He was chasing after the American dream. Like Bruce's characters always were. And he was trying to make it work. And then The Great Gatsby of Scott Fitzgerald, it's what preyed upon Gatsby, what that aborted his the lead, the guy that wrote it, the narrator, Nick Carraway, he said like when he met him, it changed him when he met the character Gatsby forever in terms of judgmental,
Right.
because it's easy to make judgments about people if you don't really get to know them or you don't get to understand their side of the story, right? Not everybody is, in my opinion, all good or all bad. Good people that do bad things and make bad decisions, and you have bad people that sometimes do good. So it's not all black and white.
And
But anyway, so then obviously they say these are all cliches about Bruce. Is that, oh, till you see him in concert, you don't know.
but
Whatever.
there's, if I could interrupt for a minute, there is a lot of truth to that. There is a reason cliches become cliches. So you've checked it out, you're doing this,
And then the
and
concert. Then
yeah,
my
so talk to
friend.
me. Tell me.
So I even have ticket stub. It's the only, I lost a lot of things, but I still have the stub of there's an area in Philly called the Spectrum, which it was an old concert house. He was one of the last bands to play there. Pearl Jam did end up closing it up. I don't remember the exact year, but I usually am very good with these things. But anyway, I think it was when he was playing all like the whole albums when he was
Okay.
going, when he
That
was
tour.
doing that.
Yeah.
So my son would know right off the bat. But anyway, he went on sale for The River. And
Mhm.
that was a real summer album. I don't know why. Maybe that's when it came out. I don't know. But I had a boyfriend at the time and drive around in his 72 Chevy Nova. And we just listened to that all the time. And but anyway.
Very darling out in the street. Absolutely. Right.
Yep. A Hungry Heart. So you had to send away for tickets. And it was a 6-night stand at the Spectrum because Philly, Jersey area, New York was very popular. And my girlfriend sent away, and our tickets were where the sound box was, which was like all the way in the back of the floor. And they said, oh, and I brought binoculars, and they said,
Yeah.
you can't sit there. They didn't have Fanavision or anything. And they said, and they moved us up to the 14th row.
Oh,
And
nice.
I thought I had found God. I had never seen a rock show like that in my life. My experience tells me that he played for 4 hours or longer, that he went on after the lights came on. But obviously it's fuzzy. But I know I didn't have a voice after that for days. And it was like, wow, if this guy can do what he does, again, it's a reason to stay alive. And then Darkness on the Edge of Town, that's probably my like all-time favorite album because I don't know, it just faith and hope and
Yeah.
dreams, Badlands, and talking about the soul. I don't know, just oh my God, I just felt, and even Prove It All Night. They made their choices and they'll never know what it means to steal, to cheat and lie, what it's like to live and die.
Yeah.
Because I was hungry in terms of, I was a scrapper because like all people I was friendly with had really great families and they were
Okay.
married. And not, look, when you're older like me and you still let whatever happened to you in your youth affect you, you are a volunteer. Meaning you got to go to therapy, you got to clean that shit up. Okay. Especially if you have your own kid, you got to make sure you're okay with
Yeah.
that. But if you're younger and this is happening to you, you're a victim. So when I had read that, obviously, 30
But
years ago.
if you don't mind, share, and you don't have to get specifics unless you want to, but like my family, this disturbed me a lot. My parents fought a lot, and my mom was someone like my mom loved saying, "I'd kill you if I could afford to bury you." And I just thought it was a joke, and it wasn't till an adult friend said, "That's not funny. That's
My
not
mom,
funny at all."
my mom was verbally abusive. She wasn't a well woman. I was more of her mom than she was mine. And I have nothing but sympathy for her. Like I couldn't help her. I just couldn't help her. But she said terrible things. Like it was very discouraging, not supportive. And my dad, he was very inconsistent. He loved me, but it was like she was manic and he was depressive.
And so you were raising yourself in a lot of ways?
A lot of ways. But I had a Jewish grandmother, what she called Bubby. So my
Okay.
Bubby, She is.
By the way, for those of you not watching this on video, Judy's face just lit up. The shine and smile that she's sharing, there are angels that exist, and it sounds like she was one of them.
So my bubby really loved, I was an only, and thankfully, because I don't know anyone could have lived through what I did, but my bubby, she was really very religious, and she kept kosher, and she lit Shabbat candles, and I felt like just so much comfort being around her. And she sent me to, in addition to my regular high school, I went to Hebrew High, because not that I really wanted to at the time, but she thought it would be good. You could get a teaching certificate. And if I became a Hebrew teacher while I was in college, I could earn better money than if I like waited tables or whatever. That was her rationale. But
And I take it your parents weren't very religious?
no,
Okay.
not really. Not at all. Whatever. They weren't, I don't really know. I don't want to get too much
Okay,
into
yeah,
it.
no, sure, I
I mean,
got
just thank God. Right now, my life is beyond my wildest dreams, and I am nothing but grateful.
sure.
Not just, it's just the stability that I have. I wrote a book, and there's a lot of stories in there about Bruce, and about, I don't know if you knew that, and about
Oh, I didn't.
shameless promotion, and
Oh,
about
that's great. What's the name of
some
the
of,
book?
some of the things I went through in my childhood. And there's a story called about my bubby, called My Bubby's Hands. Um,
Judaisms.
yes, so
I love that so much. I will have to buy a copy.
it's called, I can send it,
Okay.
Judaism's Reflections on Surviving Life, Relationships, and Motherhood.
Oh,
So
right. Yes.
what it is, it's just a little vignettes and little stories. It's not like anything you have to read from beginning to end.
Okay.
But I mean, I wrote in my bubby's hands, and basically everything I'm telling you was in this, and the impact that she had on me. And
The so I'll
so
get armed.
I got really into being Jewish.
And I was curious, is that partly because your faith spoke to you, or was your faith combined with this wonderful loving factor in your life, or is it hard to separate the
Well,
two?
it's both. They say like higher power. If
Yeah.
you ever go into a 12 step, which I've done too, wasn't for me. But anyway,
Yeah.
my God, this is your life, Judy Kroll. Hi, I'm Judy Kroll. I personally am tired of stigma that, and okay, so even just saying this feels weird, but it shouldn't,
Yeah.
because 1 in 5 people are affected by mental illness, whether they have it by themselves or they have a family member who does.
Yeah.
Okay. And mental illness and drug and alcohol addiction, to me, are the flip side of the same coin. You're just trying to, some people self medicate. You're trying to feel normal. You're trying to feel
Yes.
okay. So I have bipolar disorder. I was diagnosed with it in 1985. Bruce's Born in the USA tour totally ties in with Bruce. Nobody knew what it was in 1985. I was 19 years old. Nobody knew what it was. When you have depression, it's just depression. But if you exhibit signs of mania, back then they assumed that it's not unipolar, it's bipolar. And they put me in a hospital at the time for 6 weeks. 6 weeks
Wow.
in the hospital. It's a crazy, literally crazy time, which I do want to maybe get another book out about at some point, but
Yeah.
before it's been done to death, because I had it when it wasn't a household word. You didn't open up a magazine and said, are you experiencing irritability? Are you having
Yeah.
mood swings? This was like, I thought I was the messiah. And there was so much crazy stuff that happened. But the way it relates to Bruce is he came around on his Born in the USA tour, and I didn't have a ticket. And I took a tennis racket, and I was pretending to air guitar in the middle of the city to try and get tickets, which is insane. So I was arrested for disturbing the peace. People who know me are going to be like, really? I don't wear beige as it is, an expression for I can't blend in. But anyway, when I was in the hospital, Bruce came around and was Born in the USA tour at Veterans Stadium. And I couldn't go. It was interesting. They let me out to see Crosby, Stills, and Nash, which is so funny because they thought that Crosby, Stills, I had a ticket for them, and my dad was allowed to take me because they decided that it would be like a soothing kind of a thing. But I wasn't allowed to see Bruce. So I made a vow because they thought it'd get me too jazzed up. So when I was in the hospital, I vowed that when I got better, not if, but when,
Right.
I would never miss another Bruce show, that it was within my power to get to as long as I lived. Not, and I didn't mean like flying, because we
Yeah.
really didn't have any money. I meant
Yeah.
within a radius that I could, and that was pretty much a promise that I kept to myself.
We made a promise we'd always remember.
That's exactly it. No retreat, no surrender. If these characters, if they could get by, then I could. If they, and for a really long time, my secret was the bipolar disorder. And everybody's got a secret, Sonny.
Yeah.
Something that they just can't tell. You spend your whole life trying to keep it. But one day, you
Yeah.
just cut it loose or let it drag you down. I hid it for so long. And then there was this drum beating inside of me. And I thought, if I could be an advocate in terms of people not having shame, that kind of thing. Okay. I have blonde, not real, but like I have blonde hair. You wear glasses. I bipolar, like I didn't ask to have it. It's a chemical imbalance in your brain. It's like having my arm. And it's if you have diabetes, you have to take insulin. But it's
Yeah.
a whole, I could do for hours on this. It's a whole complicated thing with the stigma and being ashamed and the medicine that they say you're required to take. And I've had my bouts in and out with different experiences. But the whole thing is trying to maintain a stability with
So
the
when
balance.
you read his biography and he opened up about his thoughts,
And his nutrition. I said, oh my goodness, because I always thought there's a fine line between genius and insanity. At least
yeah,
I had to tell they say that whatever, like there's Van Gogh and he cut off his, if you don't kill yourself, you can possibly be very creative
okay,
and in tune and just as long as you don't
right.
spiral out of control. There are a lot of super super bright people who like didn't fit in and had probably undiagnosed types of illnesses in my mind.
And so did what I loved is I have had my bouts with depression as well. And I really appreciated seeing that side of Bruce and him opening up about it. The sharing that, it the idea that he's sitting at dinner with Julianne and thinking, I don't deserve this. If she really knew me, she would not love me. And when he talks about Ride in Western Stars, there was a time that if you loved me, I hurt you so that I could hurt you before you hurt me.
And it's exactly like you leave, I'll leave before you leave. Because I had like trust issues, I had abandonment issues. I'm losing my train of thought. But I mean, I totally get it. I was really happy that he did open up about it.
So I always preface this, Judy, with the amount of times you've seen Bruce perform live is no way a fair barometer of how big of a fan you are. There are people that have seen him never that are massive fans, especially before this last tour, right? There were so many people because he hadn't toured in so long. And then there's other people that have been lucky enough because of where they live and their age have seen him tons. So you made a promise. Do you count?
I
Yeah.
counted my Bruce shows.
Okay. So how many shows, Judy?
Okay, again, this is just going by the wiki, whatever
Yeah,
that had the
sure.
list and my best guesstimates. And I came up with 171.
Okay. Nice.
So that's a good amount of money a good amount of money. It's a decent amount of shows to show you that
But it is also a lot of money.
he does something for me. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
many, and 6 Broadway shows. But the
Now
shows,
that's impressive. You went to Broadway 6 times?
and those were happy accidents as well. Like,
Tell me a little bit about that.
okay, I believe it was like pretty difficult to get tickets, and
Yes.
I made a pact with a couple of friends that if they got a ticket, then I would go with them, and if I got a ticket, they would go with me. and two of my friends ended up getting tickets. So I was on the hook to go, and they had great seats. So it was pretty expensive. Fortunately, my husband agreed to it on pain of death. But so I went within like a couple weeks, and I sat in the orchestra with one friend, Judy, and then my friend Joanne. I guess her daughter got front row center. So,
Wow.
and I basically said, hey, I don't want to be in Jewish, they call it a chazer, like someone that takes advantage. And I said, if
Yeah.
you know somebody else, like these was a really tough ticket that wants to go, please. But the problem was they didn't. So I was technically on the hook because I made a promise. So I did that. And then
We made a
my
promise we'd always remember.
yes, no retreat, baby, no
Yeah.
surrender. And then a friend of mine won the lottery for tickets.
Okay.
So she took me to that. So that was a lucky thing. Then it was Mother's Day, and I wanted to take my son to see it. So actually, he wanted to take me for Mother's Day,
Yeah.
but I ended up taking him. And
As
the
you do.
and the picture that I have a bag. Hang on.
Okay.
When Bruce was having his book signing, whenever
Yeah.
you could go take your picture with him, I got my husband and son and as many friends as I could a ticket for the one in Freehold. And I took mine, and I had a bag made out of it of a
Oh, how
picture of
fun.
Bruce and me. And
Yeah.
then I waited in line, as one does,
Yes.
outside the Broadway show with this bag, and I got him to sign it.
Nice. Raise it up a little bit. All right. Wonderful. Oh, that's awesome.
And I don't remember. And then I think I went to the second to the last one so that my husband could go. And then after COVID, when he was at the other theater, I guess it was St. James. I don't know. I just figured after COVID and there was such a
Yeah.
shutdown that I didn't plan on going that many times. I know it sounds like an embarrassment of riches. I was just really lucky. And I didn't plan on doing it that many
Yeah.
times. I really didn't. I
All right.
don't want
So,
to sound like I'm bragging.
no.
But
Anyway.
more important than
Yeah.
I got to see Bruce in. Have you ever heard of these Christmas shows?
Those are legendary, right?
Yes. So
Wow.
so the first year I completely missed the Christmas shows.
Okay.
We were away, and I'm sorry to say that I pretty much had some type of a meltdown when he played in, I guess it was a 2000, I'm thinking, that he shows the first show. It was either 2000 or 2001. And I think it was 2001. And he did Rosalita. And that whole tour, the reunion tour, he would not play Rosalita. And
Okay.
and I was on vacation with my husband, and I somehow got to the library and saw what had happened. I was
Yeah.
told I used to call him Born to Run Ted. Unfortunately, he passed. I don't know if you know who he is, but
No.
okay. But he was really in the Bruce, and he said I wouldn't go away if I were you, but I couldn't get a ticket. But
Yeah.
anyway, but after that, I didn't miss any of them. And you
Hmm.
could call like a number at the time with Ticketmaster. If you called the number from like Virginia, you could get through, as
Oh,
opposed
how
to just
funny.
calling. Like they
The
had
one in Jersey.
the different numbers, and I was able to get every single Christmas show
Hmm.
ticket from. Anyway, I have a whole book here full of some of the stubs, but they were like some of the best shows like I think
What
I've ever seen.
what I love about that is that I've often surprised that Bruce never gives anyone else in the band a chance to sing. Out in the street, they all take turns. And I know on the reunion tour, they did the
If
beautiful,
I should fall
yeah,
behind,
that thing. But normally Bruce doesn't say, and now little Steven's going to do one, and now Neil's going to do one. And so what I've thought and what I've seen is in the Christmas shows, it sounds like a little more looser, where everyone else is having a chance to sing and play and perform.
They were some unbelievable shows. Probably liked them better than the E Street shows, to tell you the truth, because you really didn't know what was
Yeah.
coming, and it was like
Yeah.
so. You know, Bruce seemed like he was having, not that
Yeah.
he doesn't always seem like he's having a good time.
All
But
right. So
anyway,
so I'm going to tell you a story,
okay.
and then I want you, because I know this will lead you to you will have I'm going to set you up. So 2002 was my first tour, The Rising. Devils and Dust comes out, and I listened to that CD constant. And he's coming to a small venue here in Dallas in Grand Prairie suburb. It's a really beautiful little, it's not a big arena, it's more of a theater. And I asked Linda, I said, "Do you care if I go by myself?" She goes, "No, please." So I get a ticket and I walk in, Judy, and the theater is one level, then the second level balcony, right? So I'm in the first level, the very last row on the right. To my right is the aisle. To my left is a pillar. I have a solo seat right there. Don't care. I'm in the building. This is my second chance to see Bruce. So I'm sitting there waiting, and a guy walks up and says, "Hey, do you want a better ticket?" And I went, "No, I'm fine." Because I'm thinking scalpers, because it happens all the time, right? When you're going into a thing. And about 2 minutes later, I go, "Wait a minute. I'm already in the effing arena. This
Oh
isn't a
yeah.
scalper." So I walk over and I go, "Hi, do you still have any extra tickets?" "Oh, do you want a ticket?" "Sure." So he puts me. I go down to the lower level. So I was like, this man in black, he does exist. Santa Claus is real. The Easter Bunny exists. And so I understand you've got a couple of stories about that.
Oh boy, yes. So before there was GA, there was what's called jailbait in 1999. And jailbait was the first 17 rows of a Springsteen show. And you could get tickets if you were lucky in the first 17 rows. Now they didn't let you go up to the stage. They released you at Born to Run. And then you could rush the stage. And it actually was, I'm going to say, better, because the old legs get tired, but all right.
Yes.
So if you, again, the legendary Men in Black, I was in a group called Ramis, which they only now it's a recording music artist. Springsteen is what I think it's, don't know. And there were all kinds of rumors. And I went to a show, and the Man in Black came, and he upgraded me to the second row. Actually, it happened like 6 times
Okay.
to me, because once I caught on, but you had to have a ticket for that. Like, you couldn't just sit there. You had to show them like your ticket that you
Yeah.
were. One time I actually told this guy, Carl Beams, who was in the front row, that I would see him in the front row in
Yeah.
Madison Square Garden. And he's, "Where's your seat?" I said, "Last row." And it was more like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So the guy upgraded us to the second row. There were friends who wanted to sit together for some reason and asked us, could they switch? And we ended up in the front. It was unbelievable that this happened 6 times. I actually ended up writing them poems
Okay.
that I have that says, "To the man in, ode to the Man in Black," whatever. Like, the rush was unbelievable to have that occur. And I would watch other people, like they would go up to them to try to upgrade them, and the people thought it was a scam, just like you did. They're like, and I'm like, "No, this is for real. This guy really," that was just magic. I hear Billy Joel does that too, but that was
Yeah.
just like a magic thing. So on one of the nights that I had gotten upgraded, we waited outside. This Mike Wertel, who looks like Bruce and I, looks like Bruce. He was like playing his guitar, and we were waiting outside of the Meadowlands and waiting for Bruce to come out of some tunnel. So this BMW comes out. It was July 20th, 1999. And
Okay.
it comes out, and he's not driving, but I had a sign that said New Jersey and Bruce, or Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, Perfect Together. And it was based on a slogan. Tom Keene was running for governor. It was like New Jersey and me, perfect together, whatever. I had made this. I'm no artist, but I held that up, and they stopped, and there were some people from other countries. They stopped the BMW, and Bruce gets out. He sees Mike Wurtel, and he says, "Damn, you look more like me than I do." Right? And then Patty was just unbelievably gracious, and she let us take turns getting in the back of the car and getting our picture taken with him. And I wish I could cure cancer with this feeling that I have about Bruce, which I feel is like pure and full of heart, because like I had a note of things that I wanted to say to him. I had it in my head that I was going to meet him, and I saw him, and I was speechless. Like I just kept saying thank you. And I get this picture on July 20th, 1999, and I carried it around with me. Well, it had to get developed from a disposable camera. And I also carried on the other side of it a picture of my husband and me, because people were ribbing me that how can you carry around a picture of Bruce and you and not a picture of your husband and you? So it just so happened that I made a shirt with a picture of Bruce and me on it that said, "Dreams come true," is what the shirt said.
Okay.
So, and I happened to be wearing it. I got it made. I got the shirt made, and I'm ill prepared because I can't really. Oh, here it is. So, anyway, I got this shirt made of the picture. It now fits me because I lost a bunch of weight, but it says, "Dreams come true."
Yes.
And it's a picture of Bruce and me. That night, which was, I want to say 2 nights later or 3 nights later. I have to look at the. Sorry, I have all these different props to remember. Okay, July 24th, 1999.
Okay.
Silvio Dante, known as Little Stevie, but Silvio Dante from The Sopranos, had a backroom party at the Meadowlands. Not backstage, but back room.
Okay.
From HBO. Now, I happen to talk to everyone. I know that might be surprising, sounds surprising to you. And as we're leaving maybe I think it was a Continental Airlines arena. As we're leaving, we see people with these passes draped around them, and it says HBO. And I said, "Oh my God, what is that?" And they're like, "Oh, it's just some boring backroom party. Nothing's really going on. Here, do you want our lanyards?" So my husband and I are like, "Sure." So we go back, and everyone there was waiting for Bruce. It was crazy. Like I saw James Gandolfini and had my picture taken with him, which was pretty amazing. And Lorraine Bracco, like this was James. I don't know who this woman was. But Edie Falco, who they said I resembled, wouldn't take a picture. But John Lovitz was back there, and Ed Norton. Anyway, sure enough. And I said to my husband, I said, "Do you think we should go to the parking lot where Bruce is driving out?" My husband's like, "No, I have pretty good feeling that if he's going to show anywhere, it's going to be here." So I'm like, okay. So he comes out, and like literally celebrities were waiting to meet with him.
Because he's Bruce.
And my husband, Patty's with him and everything, who's just such a sweetheart. So my husband says to Patty, he says, "There's my wife, and she's wearing a shirt with a picture of your husband and her on it that says dreams come true. Can you help me out?" So Patty takes her arms and drapes them around my husband and takes a shot. And later we saw her in a concert somewhere, and she signed it.
Oh, yes, that is such a great picture. Oh, that's great.
So he is really enamored. He's, "Can you help me?" Because the whole
That's
situation
wonderful.
was just
That's
so. Anyway,
awesome.
so I carried this picture with me from July 20th, 1999, like forever, like till 2016, April 25th. And this was before people got their pictures with Bruce with the book and all that.
Yeah.
And I dreamed that I would one day get him to sign it. So I had made a poster that said, been waiting 16 years to get this signed. And it had the picture of he and I on it. And I went to the Brooklyn show in April 25th. This date is ingrained in my brain, 2016. And Spring Nuts had just started. And I was wearing my Spring Nut shirt. And I had I left it in the car, this poster. And it was Barry, my husband, I have to give him credit, and a really good friend of mine, Dara, walked back to the car. It was like over a mile, and got it for me. Here we are, we're on the side, like Clarence's side, which I guess is now Jake's side. Anyway, so he starts Hungry Heart, and he never stops during Hungry Heart. Like, he goes out into the crowd, and I hold this sign up, and he says, "What do you want me to do with it?" And I said, "Sign it." So he does. And it just so happened that friends of mine were in the pit on that side, Blaze and Joanne and a couple others. And Blaze took a picture of Bruce signing the picture of him. And I'm wearing my Spring Nut shirt. So it's
That
crazy.
is awesome.
And the expression that I make, I don't know, I sent it to you, but I sent you on, but the
Yeah, you sent me
expression,
the picture, and that's just awesome.
I don't know how if you were able to show anybody, but
Well,
I mean, if you go on my Facebook site, it's like here's the expression on my, I just found it, but here's the expression on my face. It's just because it's just so funny. And I do think I was telling Howie, oh, it's all because of the lucky shirt. So that's like our big joke, that it's the lucky shirt that did it. But here, okay. And some guy got in. I don't know. Everybody gets in, but
that's awesome.
and there
Look at
he
your,
is
yeah.
signing it. And wait, this is absolutely
Yes.
so that's pretty crazy, right? Those
So,
are pretty crazy stories that like happen
yeah.
in the world of Bruce.
Do,
Can I show, I'll show you something hysterical.
yeah.
First picture that Patty took, and again, like I got that. The first one that she took of me in that car is absolutely hysterical because my eyes are like bulging out of my head. I can't find it right now. And she's oh
Let's do a
here it
better
is.
one. Yeah,
Wait,
okay.
she's like, think you're going to want to take another one of these? Wait, you have to see this. This is, I don't know if you want to put this on there or
Yeah.
not. Wait.
That is, oh, you're like, I can't believe this is happening.
I look like a crazier person than I am. So she
Yeah.
took another one where it's more,
That's
but I
much
mean, this
better.
is right.
Yes,
I know
that's
exactly
awesome.
what you're saying because it was like I look like more like a deer in the headlights than I ever
Yeah.
did. I have this whole book of homage to Bruce.
That's
Just
awesome.
and when I really liked what you told me about, I love the analogy how like I kicked Bruce out of the bedroom and made him sleep on the sofa, but I let
Yeah,
him back in because
exactly.
he is and was such an important part of my life that I
All right.
can't ever not
So,
have him.
so one of the questions, have you met him any other times?
That was twice. And then the books, I met him in the parking lot. I met him at the Silvio Dante backroom party, and then at the book signing
Okay.
in Freehold. But I wish I could say that I had met him more, but again, like I wouldn't really know. I get tongue tied. Like the
Yeah.
things I'd like to talk
Yeah.
to him
Like
about.
if I would ever be blessed enough to have him on the podcast,
Wow.
I would spend all of it talking about his fandom. I would talk about the music he loved growing up, what was his mom's favorite bands, what was your first concert. I would just talk to him all about that because what could I ask him that somebody else hasn't asked? But maybe
But
he'd
will you
enjoy.
tell him how much he meant to you?
Oh, I would tell him that. Absolutely. When I had Mike Appel on, we talked about him writing for the Partridge Family, and he talked a little bit about David Cassidy. And at the end, I told him that I know I know a lot's gone on, but when you talk about Hamilton and Jefferson are the founding fathers of this country, I said, you are a founding father of the E Street Nation. You are important. And he said, I appreciate you saying that. So that's cool. All right. So you've gone to over 150 shows. I feel silly asking this, but are there songs you're still chasing?
Priest, which you saw, right? Am I
saw
right?
twice. I saw twice.
You saw Priest twice.
I saw it in Houston and Austin. Yes.
See, everybody has their magic moment.
Yes.
Or moments with Bruce. And no one person's magic moment is better than another's. Okay.
Yeah.
He just gives that to people. Just makes you believe in dreams. Dreams will not be thwarted. Fate will be rewarded. Meet me in a field where sunlight streams. Let's go back to the songs. I heard when he did New York City Serenade, opening every show with that. When he would do, Incident, he hasn't played in a really long time, but when he did Incident and then went in the Rosie, some of the stuff from tracks 1, Janie, Don't You Lose Heart, I heard that, not as often as I would like, and Loose Ends. I heard For You, which, by the way, my son knows every lyric to that song, which that was the test, without it playing in the background. But this is...
I hope you're having fun.
I am. But I don't want you to think I'm like bragging or anything.
No, these are the stories I want to hear.
I wish I could take this around and show you how every part of my wall in this, I have a guitar room and I have a room where I write, and how they're covered with Bruce. And in my living room, which we don't use because we have a family room that we watch TV on. We use it, but there's all I got all the one from him at Shea Stadium. I got a Philly, all the posters, like the Philly poster. I was in line for that show too that got canceled, that Philly show. I was like number 8 or something like that for GA. But anyway, everywhere you look, like I said, is Springsteen. I won a contest because I started taking guitar lessons at age 51.
Good for you.
Never, ever had a piano growing up. We were really poor. So I want to stress that, because there are some people, I hate to say it, who, look, my husband's a pediatrician, okay? And nobody gave him the money to go to school. He came out hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. His parents maybe made $10,000 a year between them. My mom, we were on welfare. So I don't come from this, but he just worked really hard. And I forget the hell where I was going with this, because that's what happens when when you get old.
You were talking about the pictures in the wall and your decorations, and
because
I was in line for Philly and it got canceled.
It just sounds like we have a lot of rooms in the house. But anyway, all over our guitar. So I wanted to learn guitar at age 51. I have no idea where this is going. We grew up poor with the piano. I didn't have a piano or nothing. Anyway, I entered this contest. Okay. Israel and Bruce. Bruce, bicycling, and Judaism. They're like the top. My family comes first, then is probably family and health and friends, and then Judaism, and then Bruce, and then bicycling, in that order. Okay. But everyone knows if Bruce were to come on Yom Kippur, which is the holiest holiday of the Jewish year, I wouldn't see Bruce. Okay, Judaism. Bruce is like a religion, but Judaism is first. So we plan.
And I'd love I know that there are other countries he hasn't played, but it would be cool for him to play Israel, wouldn't it?
Oh, that'd be phenomenal. I wouldn't miss that. Anyway, okay. So we booked the trip to go to Israel, and it was scheduled for 2020 in, I guess it was like May or March. I don't know, whatever. And COVID hit. So lo and behold, it gets rescheduled for 2023 when Bruce is going to play Philly, Wells Fargo. I didn't go. I went to Israel, but prior, so I said, let's catch a different show. So we went to the one in Hollywood, like the Hard Rock in Hollywood, like Florida, where the guitar and all that. So I entered a contest. It said, if you're like this big Bruce fan, send us something showing how big a fan you are. Craig
Yeah.
Appleman entered it too and won. But so I ended up getting all this swag. I got a t-shirt. I got everything's all over. I have Bruce everywhere. And I got this bag and
Nice.
a cozy. So anyway, because I played Born to Run on the guitar. So anyway, so I embarked on this journey and I'm terrible and I'm never going to play for money. In fact, people would probably pay me to stop playing. I guess I enjoy it. And I guess people are like, do you enjoy it? I'm like, it's really hard. It's challenging. I'm not really good at it. But anyways,
Yeah.
but I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Good for you.
My son, who is very musical, who plays piano, who picks up the guitar and can just play Stairway to Heaven, he said to me, and he meant this as a compliment, Mom, with people that have your ability level would have quit years ago. And I swear I mean that as a compliment.
Sure.
So 2 things I want to show you. So I go to the Prudential Center. I make a sign. I guess it was this current tour that says, I'll trade you my pick for yours. Because it was the first time Bruce uses this pick. A pick, I'll show you. It's called Cool is the name of the pick. And he uses a medium thing. Now he uses something like this. However, I'll show you in a minute, has it's in a triangular shape that has on the edges where if you turn it, I'll show you in a minute. So anyway,
Okay.
So it's the first time that he has a pick that is made for him, with his name on it. I don't know if you're familiar.
No.
That's black and white.
Okay.
So that's his
Nice.
pick. Okay.
Yeah.
And and that's the brand. His pick with his stamped signature. And I didn't know, and I asked my guitar teacher the reason. Now, and you can't get black and white. You can't get it.
Okay.
I tried. But if you see this pick, this is where you strum the guitar. This pick, if it turns and you sweat, you can play it.
Ah, okay.
From any angle. So
nice.
It's great. Okay. So I really wanted, I really wanted a pick and made a sign that said, I'll trade you my pick for yours. And he was just giving them to kids and stuff like that. And it's pretty distressed. And I know, who am I to say I deserve a pick? But in Philly, in the front row and all that, my girlfriend saw him hand it to me, but it wasn't on a Jumbotron. So I really don't have any specific proof, but I swear to God.
It is an official.
But I saw what someone did in order to get a pick. And it wasn't a sign. This guy, the first Philly show, held up a pick to Bruce and Bruce swapped with him.
Okay.
I did the same thing and I got Bruce's pick. But the last thing I'll show you, I also had this guitar made. They auctioned off a guitar at the last serenade.
Okay.
And I contacted the guy that made it because this is just something so incredibly special. And I think Alexander Jardel has one too that Stan bought for her. But anyway, this is.
Oh, how cool.
A decoupage.
Decoupage or whatever. A montage.
One of the pictures is actually me getting Bruce, the one where he signed the picture. Another one is like my family. We went to get to that guitar to the East Street. We went. But anyway, it's so detailed.
That's beautiful.
It actually played, like you can actually play this. So I just thought.
You can play a couple chords for me?
I mean, like I said,
I've seen you every once in a while. You post you playing on.
I know, and people just can't wait till it goes away, right?
No, not at all.
I can't sing either. That's the problem.
That's all right. So.
I wanted to say it's an inside job when you talk about Bruce, and you see all these celebrities on paper, and they have everything that they could possibly want materialistically, say. And if you look at my life on paper, which some people do on Facebook, like they don't realize it's an inside job. Okay, like
Yeah.
when we got our house, which is not just a house, it's a home, but I said to my husband, people like me don't live. I always was in an apartment. I never lived in a house that I didn't get. My mom used to change the locks on me, and the police would come, and that's another story in there, my book, and they would make her take me in. They would say, "You're her
Hmm.
guardian. You have to have her here." And but I would say I said to my husband, people like me don't live in houses like this, and he would say, "They do now." But and
And
that's
did you not want to believe that you deserved it?
it, it was hard because there's pathways in your brain, and sometimes I'm wired. If you say something really bad about me, I will believe you because that pathway has been
Yeah.
formulated. But if you offer me a compliment, I have to reconfigure that, try to see how I'm gonna let that in. So so Bruce really that him it's but I know what you were saying. It's an inside job, and I wish people
Yeah.
would just get that because they think if you acquire this and that, and I'm going to be happy when Whitney Houston and Michael Jackson and all these stars that have everything that we could. You look at Sergeant Pepper, A Day in the Life. There's this poem, back to literature, called Richard Cory, and he had everything you could want from soul to crown. And then one fine day, Richard Cory put a bullet through his head, and nobody knew why. In fact, Simon Garfunkel took it and made a song out of it. But I'm just point being, anyway, we're going back to mental illness, which is I don't know how we got on this tangent, but anyway, but because I think
Well, yeah,
music. I don't know if you watch that Billy Joel.
I haven't yet.
Oh, it's
And
amazing. And then
yeah.
Bill Maher also does Club Random, which is like what we're doing, except that he smokes pot and he had Billy Joel on. And he
Okay.
said that music obviously speaks the lyrics, speak to
Well,
you. Like,
so when people ask me, what are your favorite Bruce Springsteen songs? I usually say Land of Hope and Dreams and Better Days. And
now you're going to take me to a story.
right. And I want to hear that story, but Better Days is the message you just talked about, that so many people say, when I get the promotion, then I'll be happy. When I get the kids out of diapers, then I'll be able to rest. And that you're sitting around waiting for your life to begin while it's all just slipping away.
Oh,
And it is, in fact, I've told this story too many times, but I'll say it really quickly. I was lucky enough to get a ticket to go see Bruce in Austin when the signings, right? Picking up the book appearance. And what I said is, when I had my 8 seconds, I said, last year I spent 9 months unemployed, and I listened to Better Days and Land of Hope and Dreams every day to keep me positive, and I want to thank you for that.
great.
So, Better Days story.
No, not Better Days, Land of Hope
Land
and
of Hope and
Dreams.
Dreams. Okay.
But and then I also have to tell you the Spring Nut story, which is
Okay.
there's you know what? There's so many stories. I could fill a book with them.
Yeah.
Of just I should have made a post. I should have written down all the just everything with Bruce was like from the heart. And
Yeah.
everything like I got from him was because I felt like I was pure of heart. And I feel like, man, if I could have used this energy to cure cancer instead
Mhm.
of meeting Bruce. But
But you think about it, he's been a good companion on this part of the ride for all of us. And I think all of us have that stories of how his music and music in general, but specifically Bruce, have got us through dark times. When I had colon cancer in 2017, and I'm doing chemo,
oh my.
and I didn't listen to podcasts, I didn't watch TV, video or anything. I just closed my eyes and put in my fuck cancer playlist
Oh good.
filled with tons of Bruce Springsteen and other artists that I love, and just lost myself in the music. And just because And there is so much. Some men want to die young and gloriously. Get it straight now, mister. That's not me. And so that was one of the songs and No Surrender, No Retreat, No Surrender. Every post I did about fighting cancer was about that.
That's great.
And it's just, he's there for us. And what a blessing that he's been there for you.
So like my entire house has Bruce posters all over it. Every passcode that I use has the word Bruce in it. Every book. I wanted to learn to play guitar because of Bruce. I actually even got
Yeah.
a guitar. They said get one that you like the look of it because you'll want to play it. So of course I got a fake whatever it is, Telecaster that he has. Remember I saying it right? Fender Telecaster. Anyway, he had but I went, let's see, he had a rehearsal. Okay, this was really crazy. In 1999, he reunited with E Street Band. Okay, because
Yes.
he was with the other band for a while, and I went and I saw him with the other band, and then there was like a lull, and he was getting inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame at the Waldorf Astoria in New York. So,
Okay.
first of all, before that, I got married in 1998. So my husband, he knew what he was getting into
He
because
did. You told him right up front.
I told him we had a Springsteen imitator at our wedding. So he's a guy named Mike Wortell.
Okay.
He used to go by Mike Rocket, but
Okay.
I'm sure you've seen him in the Bruce communities.
I'm
Oh,
sure.
even before that, even the year before that. So in '97, Bruce played in Freehold at the St. Rose of Lima School, and it was the
Okay.
first time he played that song in Freehold. Now you had
Right.
to be a resident of Freehold to get in. And I said to my husband, "We're going." And he was like, "What are you talking about?" And I said, "I don't know, but we're going to find a way in." And we could hear him doing the river from outside. And I went up to a guard and I said, "Barry, you got any money?" So he starts taking out money. Don't do that right here, because my husband was like pretty innocent, like wasn't used to pulling like schemes and like he didn't really have a lot of like I did, like I don't want to say an underhanded skill, but anyway, so we got in. There was 2 vacant seats, and we sat there, and then I got interviewed on the radio about it from Ed Shockey.
Okay.
He's a DJ in Philly that got Bruce played on the air. So he used to do a show called Saturdays with Springsteen. I actually have the cassette tape of it. And he interviewed me about what it was like to be at that Freehold show because he couldn't get in. And then on that same show, this guy, Mike, called in to talk about how he had this song like Route 66 and they played it and it was like all about going to the Pony to see Bruce. Fast forward, I'm at dinner with my bridal party and I see this guy. And I said to my bridal party, "I think Bruce Springsteen's sitting over there." It was like in Elkins Park, another suburb around here. They're like, "No, I already think I'm
Like for
crazy."
the odds. Yes.
It was,
Bruce everywhere.
it was Mike. So we figured out that we were on the same show, interviewed by Ed Shockey. And then I told him I was getting married, and he ended up playing at the wedding as a Bruce impersonator. I don't know if you knew, but Judy, and I did send Bruce an invitation to my wedding, but he never showed. But so he did 4 songs, and he came in with a friend of his was a black saxophone player. So basically,
Oh, wow.
I had a fake Bruce at my wedding. It's almost like people do fake Elvis when they go to.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway, okay, so that was 1998. So my husband knew what he was getting into. So in then 99, when Bruce got inducted into the Rock Hall of Fame, Mike and I went up and to the Waldorf Astoria. We took a ride and tried to get in based on him saying he was like, "Hey, I'm late for the show. I got it," and we almost got in based on him looking like Bruce. But anyway, so it didn't happen. So here we are. We're in the lobby. We're hanging out, the Waldorf Astoria, and for whatever reason, I take the elevator up to the 6th floor and then walk down to the 3rd. I didn't even know what I was doing. I'm in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony, which
How fun.
they're like, it was a dinner. Like everyone
Yeah.
was seated like all around. So I'm like up against the wall, and the cell phones didn't take pictures back then. They were like flip phones or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like up against, but I had one of those disposable cameras. I'm in, I don't know what to do. Somehow I call Mike and I tell him, go to the 6th floor and take a blah, blah, blah to
Yeah.
the 3rd floor. And he gets in. And at that particular ceremony, Bono, and I think my dad had passed in 98, and I'm like, Dad, thank you, because he helped me get in. So I thought. And then so we go up to Bruce's table, to his mother, to Adele, and we say, don't you think he looks like Bruce? And she's, that doesn't look like my Brucey. But anyway, I have she signed my Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Hold on a second. She signed my Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony book. Wait. Okay. See, I wasn't really prepared. See, look, you're taking me on all these. So I got this book, which I shouldn't have had. You could not buy the book. It was under people's chairs, and God not arrest me, but I did pilfer somebody's book.
Oh, how fun.
I pilfered a book. I figured it was like $2,000, $2,500 a seat. And I figured if they'll just tell them that they lost the book. And anyway, and Adele, there's Billy Joel, Paul McCartney, and Bruce. And it was the first time Bruce reunited with the band in however many years, 7 years. So I have Adele Springsteen's signature. So
that is awesome. Talk about a unique memory.
So that was like 99 was insane. That was the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Hi, listeners, or hi, YouTubers. Jesse here. Just wanted to let you know that Judy and I get a little political in the next segments. So I just wanted to warn you beforehand. I think it's a great conversation. It's a respectful conversation. And I think it's a lovely conversation that people need to hear. But I did want to give you a warning. So continue on. If you want to skip till we finish talking politics, go to about an hour 45. And about that time period, we move on to another subject.
And then he started doing rehearsals for a tour. So he had a rehearsal in Asbury. He did 2 shows. And in 99, I think it was March 20th, 1999. See, now it's all come back. Mm-hmm. So it was the first time that he ever played Land of Hope and Dreams. Okay. I was lucky enough to get into the rehearsal show, which I'm not going to tell you how that happened, but it did. He did Land of Hope and Dreams. Speechless. Like, to me, this was the embodiment of every Bruce song ever written. Meet me in a field where dreams will not be thwarted. Faith will be rewarded. Like, I had struggled so much, and then I met this guy who was completely stable and loved me. Like, I was like a well that just needed constant watering. And I found the stability and the security and the safe space and this love, and
that you could only dream about.
But that song, it just encouraged me, like, to follow my dreams. Big wheels rolling through a field, meet me in the land of hope and dreams. And this train carries everybody. And so I want to say that when I went up, my son was bar mitzvahed, and I lit the candles on the cake. It was to that song. When he would end every concert with it, I would go crazy. I went to Brooklyn, and people had me on video. He didn't play it every concert, but when he played it, I went insane. Like, it had been even like, before the internet, before Spring Nuts adopted it as a mantra. That was my personal mantra. And I had a pick made up that said that on there. And I believe in a promised land. I believe land of hope and dreams. Like, that was attainable. It was attainable no matter where you started. If you were lucky and you persevered, and you stayed sane, you could get to the other side. And so then I just absolutely became enamored with that song. And then I got a jacket that said, there was a famous jacket that I won't say who, but somebody was selling them. And anyway, and I wore it in just such admiration, or just, it was such a look where we got, look where we were, and everybody is invited, saints and sinners and whores and gamblers, and you're not being discriminated against. Oh, and I was always a leftist liberal growing up. So I always was on Democrat side, and my mom was on welfare, and I just believed in sharing everything and
Sure.
total. So what happened was time passed, and even though, and Bruce's songs mean the world to me, and I knew where he stood politically, and my ideas changed. Okay, even though Land of Hope and Dreams was my song. So anyway, I had a jacket made, and I lost a lot of weight. I lost 100 pounds, and the jacket was too big. So 2 weeks before he started this tour, this Land of Hope and Dreams tour overseas, I decide I need to get a new jacket. I think I had told you this story. I don't know.
Okay.
So I reached out to the person. She said she had a small. She was going to make it up. And she said it's going to take a couple weeks. And then he started his tour. And he used that song to protest a political candidate that I voted for. He took it, which songs morph. Like My City of Ruins was originally about Asbury Park.
Yes, it
And
was.
then he took it after 9/11 and
Yeah.
used it.
And then it was about the Sandy and hurricane. It continues. It could be about Katrina. It is songs morph. They do.
And it's his song. And he could say it's Born in the USA. We know it wasn't a mantra praising America. We know it's Vietnam vets got a
Yeah.
bad deal and whatever. So anyway, so he does this terrible, like I knew where he stood always politically, and people were like, if you can't follow Bruce, if you don't listen, if you don't comprehend his words, wait a minute, okay, are you going to tell me that Born to Run, how's that political? I'm going to walk with you when
And like I will find
an
people,
everlasting kiss. I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I will find people that say you can't be Catholic and believe in pro-choice. And I'm like, I can. I am a person, and there are complicated reasons why we select who we vote for. And I have seen people that will are ugly, Judy, ugly. And I've seen the ugliness that people have pushed for you and for other people that, you know, you're believing what you believe, and there is a reason why you believe it. And
Well,
that's
people
the whole
think it's
point.
immoral. People are equating it morally, that they can't associate with someone that has another position from them.
Yeah.
And because of this particular president and some of his beliefs. And I'm wanting to suggest, I didn't finish the Land, Hope, and Dream story, but
Yeah,
anyway,
please. No, finish the story.
okay, when I heard what he did, I felt rejected.
Yeah,
Okay. This train didn't carry me anymore.
I know.
Okay. Like, I have a different opinion. And I
Right.
felt like I'm not welcome on your train. If I were to talk to you, Bruce, and tell you I don't agree, would I no longer be welcome at your shows? Because that's what it felt like to me.
Right.
And I don't, the rant, I do call them rants. And he went and he did it overseas, not here. You can't tell me that. And I'm sorry, Bruce, if you're watching this or whatever, but 60,000 people, 50,000 people that go to your shows all subscribe to your political viewpoint. Now, people are like, oh, he should just shut up and sing. No, I don't believe that. How? 60 social protests, man. One, two,
Yeah.
three, four. We don't know what we're fighting for. The song Ohio by Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. People got killed in Kent State. Hey, this is Bob Dylan. This is artists should affect social change. Okay.
Yes.
All the beat poets. And I 100%, Bruce has a right to say what he needs to say. Okay. But you know what? So do I. I have a
Exactly.
right to have my opinion as well. But he has a bigger forum than I do. And it was like the way he did it. Okay, like he just called him out like mercilessly. And I'm tired, it's late,
I
but
get it.
and by osmosis, I guess people that supported him.
So
Like, how could let me just tell you something. So there's this guy who I like who's very fair. And let me tell you, I don't make my decisions lightly. And I watch both teams. Not unfortunately, I can't believe it has to be teams.
that is sad.
But Bill Maher from Real Time with
Yeah.
Bill Maher, to me, now he does not a fan of Trump, but he'll bust on the woke, and he'll bust like he is a straight shooter. Okay.
Yeah.
And Trump invited him for dinner because Kid Rock, whatever. Okay. So say what you
Yeah.
want. And he went. He no fan of Trump, never liked Trump, cut him up constantly on his show, said most horrible things. He brought a list of all the things that Donald Trump said bad about him, and Donald signed them. But
Oh, how
anyway, so
fun.
he's a guy of integrity. He reports back, and he reported back that he couldn't say a bad thing about him. He said he is not the guy that you see, the buffoon, the way he acts in front of her. He's, I wish everyone could sit down to dinner with him. I wish I could say something bad. And he reported what he experienced honestly. He kept an open mind and then went right back to insulting every single policy of Trump's that he disagreed with. So I think, I don't know, like I wish Bruce could have said that. I think I think we're all more alike than we are different. And we're lacking like a middle ground. Because if I were to sit down with you and try to get your point of view and try to understand, I'm not going to change your mind, but I'm not going to hate you as a human being because you have different.
So a lot to unpack there, and I really appreciate you sharing. I have
Until Land of Hope and Dreams, I canceled the jacket. And then
I
time passed.
how are you gonna get the jacket?
So I wrote the woman, I need to cancel the jacket. And she's like, why? She's on the others. I hate
Yeah,
that. He's on the other team.
I get you.
So she said, why? It's your favorite song. I said, because, you know, what it's been used for. It's been, what you call it? Come on, give me the word. It's been dirtied. It's been soiled. And then I thought about it. And I thought maybe that doesn't have to mean that for me. And I wrote back, I said, you know what? And I write her this whole diatribe. I thought about it and blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. And I still want to go through with the purchase. And she said, I'm sorry, it's already been sold.
Darn. Okay.
So wait, more.
Yes.
So his tour ends, and I've been having tete-a-tetes with people, with arguing and just expressing opinions about ad nauseum about how can I give up Bruce. I was just so angry. And as time passed, I realized I can't give him up. He's part of my DNA.
Huh.
And I went and I bought a jacket, and I have a friend that does embroidery.
Oh, that is a beautiful jacket. Oh, that is beautiful.
And I figured I got to make peace with this. And there are people who have my views, but they don't express them because why? If they know they're going to get attacked. But I'm more honest than most, unfortunately.
No, I don't think
my heart out
unfortunate
there
at
on my
all.
sleeve. And this song still means what it means to me.
Absolutely.
And even Bruce can't take that away. You can't take away Land of Hope and Dreams from me.
You
Guess
can't.
what? I'm not letting you.
Exactly. And I believe, like, I have a wonderful friend who says his sad, what he's sad about, and he is a small business owner. It's very hard if you're an independent small business owner not to be more conservative and
That's my
concerned
husband.
about. I get that. He said what he misses is you want safe borders. I want safe borders. We disagree how to do it. Let's get together and figure out how to get safe borders. You want people to have health insurance. I want people to have health insurance. Let's get together and figure out why.
Can I
You
kiss
want,
you?
yes. And
I don't support 100% of what Trump says or does. I think nobody supports their candidates
No.
You pick and choose,
Yeah.
and then let's go to Israel.
Yeah.
Let's go right away to Israel. No, so being Jewish and everything, like this land, I believe
Yeah.
in a promised land, which is
Yeah.
also in my mind about Israel. We know that it's not. Hey, Jude, that wasn't about Julie and Lennon, about me.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Take a sad song, make it better. Don't carry the world on your shoulders.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
tend to disagree that it's for Julie and Lennon.
And it's like that. Once again, we go back to Blind by the Light. These songs he wrote about me.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Israel became really important to me. Again, hang on, I'll shut this door a minute.
Okay.
Okay, so this has to be a book sometime, but
Okay.
I dreamed of going to Israel. As a Jewish person, it just becomes like synonymous with finding God. It's just your land. So I went, unfortunately, I was 18 years old, and my mom and her boyfriend, I was supposed to go for 6 weeks, and they threatened to kill my cat, Cuddles. They were just horrible people, and they said, when you come back, your cat is going to be hanging from the rafters. Okay. So I didn't make it the 6 weeks there, and that's when I said,
excuse me, how effed up is that?
Okay. So I do a lot of traveling, but I don't really like it because I'm very insecure, wonder why.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Okay.
so I didn't last the 6 weeks. I had to come home, and that's when I had my depression. And then the following summer, I went manic. But anyway, so I didn't stay. And I also became a teacher, like a Hebrew school teacher. So every time when you're in a Hebrew school environment, a religious school environment, they say to you, have you ever been to Israel? Again, darkness on the edge of town, because I had to say, everybody's got a secret. What can I say? Oh, I went, and 2 weeks later, I had a mental breakdown, and I had to come home. So I was just like, no. So that was in 1985. 1999, again, magical year. That was a magical year. I married in 98, 99. I saw Bruce at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I heard Land of Hope and Dreams, and I went to Israel. I went back with my husband.
Okay.
I had a do-over. Who in their right mind ever gets that? I had a do-over, and I stayed the whole time, and I fell in love with the land, and it was like I was so grateful that I got to go back and stay this time. And then I went, that was 99, and then in 2014 I took my son there, and he had a bar mitzvah at the wall. So I was like, Mom, you go to Israel every 15 years. But anyway, Israel to me is a land of hope and dreams. It's like milk and honey. If God forbid, there's a lot of anti-Semitism going on right now. And if another Holocaust could happen, but it can't because we have Israel, because you have a right of return. Being Jewish, you can always go there and you're always welcome. So here comes Bruce, and here comes what's going on now. October 7th, which was the worst attack on Jewish people since the Holocaust. 1,200 people were kidnapped or killed, and they were innocent civilians. I actually went and volunteered. I went after it happened. It happened October 7th. I went in April with a group from my synagogue by myself. I was with the group, but don't forget, I was like, oh my God, 1985. I went and I had a breakdown. I had to come home. And then I went with my husband. It was fine. I went with my husband and son. But now I got to go back because I want to help. And I'm going alone. I'm going alone. So I was a little bit trepidatious. But anyway, when I went, I went to the Nova Festival where kids were dancing around with glee, and they were actually on ecstasy and celebrating, and then they just got obliterated. I saw like the boundary of Gaza and Israel. They give you a lanyard when you got there. It was Jewish National Fund. The lanyard had a picture and a name of someone that was around during that time, and it said Israel's small. It's like the size of New Jersey. You can't even fit the word Israel in the map of the picture of Israel. And they said, someone will see that lanyard on you and they will know what happened to that person, because that's how small it is. Everybody knows everybody there. It's like maybe 6 hours to drive from one end to the other. I could talk on this forever too. But anyway, I was working. I was some place sweeping up goat poop, and somebody came over, and I don't speak Hebrew fluently. And they talked to my guide, and they brought me to this little garden. off to the side of where I was sweeping, and at the little garden, there was a memorial planted to this person, leave note, and her family. And
Yeah.
she perished. She was in one of the kibbutzes that got attacked right away, and her husband and her 3 teenage sons, and they were found huddling together. I don't know if they were burned or what the story was. But so then fast forward, then I didn't know October 7th was going to happen, but we had a trip planned to Poland because I wanted to see the camps.
Okay.
And I wanted my son to see the camps because I could watch it here on a film. You could tell me it's AI. The survivors are dying off. It happened in 1945. So I just had this. A lot of people said they couldn't handle doing it, but I went for what you call March of the Living, where it's the Holocaust Remembrance Day, and you take your Israeli flag and you drape it around you and you march on Auschwitz to celebrate that we survived. It's a giant FU to the Nazis. Obviously, that was very impactful. And then you start having these incidents on college campuses where they're ripping up pictures of hostages that are posted. Like innocent people did get killed for whatever. You're going to tell me a justification. There is no justification for what was done and the brutality. And they're just the terroristic for just not wanting Israel to even exist. So then you go to the college campuses and I'm going to tie it into Trump, and you're having all this social protest on the side of what I think they're going to find is the wrong side of history. And so Bruce is all proponent for free speech. I think the speech that was going on college campuses isn't free speech, it's hate speech. And they're chanting from the river to the sea, which is Israel. It's from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea. Okay. And it's been tried a 2-state solution over and over again. Israel is the land of the Jewish people. We didn't take it. It's been documented in everything, in archaeology, in this and in that. And the United Nations said the land should be shared, and then they attacked. And then the history, nobody knows the history. It's so complicated. Nobody has the patience to read through it. It's impossible, even though I'm Jewish. Before I had this interview with you, I was to a meeting of the Zionist Organization of America. And Zionism is just the belief that Jews should have a country and it should be Israel. But people are saying that they're anti-Zionist, but that they're not anti-Semitic. And I don't see how that could be if you don't believe that. In every prayer book that you go to, in every synagogue, we pray to Israel, thousands of years old. And so I don't know how you can say that you don't believe that's a Jewish homeland and you dislike the Jews. It doesn't compute. So here they are, and they're saying these horrible things on college campuses. Kids are Columbia and University of Pennsylvania, and you name it. And kids are not allowed, Jewish kids are feeling like threatened.
Yeah.
And they're not allowed to go. And it just seemed like the world had been turned upside down. If they were shouting against any other nationality, I don't think this would really be permitted. So Trump is fining the universities for allowing this to occur. Now, the other side of it is that it's taking money away from cancer research, which I'm obviously not in favor of. I'm not in favor of not having free speech, but I know, and you have said that's not the only reason I voted for Trump, but it is a huge issue that I feel that for some reason in this day and age, and it didn't used to be like that. It used to be the other way around, that the right, as opposed to the left, has more friends of Israel than the left. Because on the other party, you got the Ilhan Omars and the AOCs and Rashida Tlaib, and even Bernie Sanders, who people are like, but he's Jewish, but he's not very pro-Jewish at all. But I'm just saying that doing it as a matter of survival, and this is probably way more than you wanted to hear. I'm like,
no, I appreciate it, and it's a very complicated.
Thank you. It
is subject, and
they say innocent Palestinians. I'm hearing different reports. Like even what's going on right now, it's hard to tell to discern what's true and what's not. Like there was a picture of a starving young child on all the major newspapers, and then they found out that he was like a pawn because he had some type of really bad medical issue, and it wasn't starvation. Now, everything I've heard, Hamas, this terrorist organization, they hide themselves in schools, they hide themselves in hospitals, they use children as their human shields. Are Palestinians, how many of the Palestinians support Hamas? But like in the charter, it says they don't want Israel. They don't want to live peaceably with us. And I don't really know how to make that. It is very complicated. I'm not sure if there are innocent, quote, innocent Palestinians or not, because they grow up at a very young age being taught hatred for the Jewish people. And I don't know. I just don't know how that's going to change. And now there's like a propaganda campaign that's really making it like Israel is committing all these terrible crimes. And they've been saying that this propaganda campaign has been in the making for years. Like they actually are not just anti Israel, but they're anti United States, like they're
Yeah.
pro intifada. And then you see things like queers for Palestine, but Palestine's like under Sharia law. How you couldn't be gay in Palestine. I'm just not understanding what the rationale is. And then, but by the same token, I think to myself, if I could just sit down and talk, not in an environment where it's dangerous or whatever, but if there
Yeah.
was like I had an incident last week where I saw a couple people and they were protesting for pro-Palestine and anti-Israel. There was like 3 people. I want to kick myself because my emotions got all out of control. And I
Sure.
drove back. I actually put it up and I screamed at them all kinds of things and obscenities and this. And it was and people were like, I posted on Facebook. They're like, "Go you, go you." I thought to myself, this didn't change anything. Hindsight's 2020. What I wish I had done, I wish I had walked over to them. And if this ever happens again, I'm really going to try. And I want to say to them, hey, I really want to hear your perspective and
Yeah.
how you reached this conclusion. And
Yeah.
then can I tell you mine?
Right.
Now, would we change each other's minds?
No.
Probably not. But at least maybe we could bring some type of a peaceable understand. I don't know. Am I crazy, Jesse?
No, I get you. And I think part of the problem is, and this is globally, not just this issue, is the word compromise has become a dirty word. And in finding peaceful solutions for anything is just really hard to do. Let's pick with something less controversial, gun laws, right? People
How's that
that,
less controversy?
I'm being sarcastic, people who swear by the Second Amendment would not care about any other amendment, right? That's their deal. And if you try to say, hey, can we get really smart people that are pro gun ownership, really smart people that are anti gun ownership, but everyone wants less children being killed, put them in a room together and figure out what are ways we could do to make ourselves safer. I don't want children to die in Israel. I don't want children to die in Palestine, right? What do we do to get that where we find a way? And and but it is there is it's there's so much baggage. And I when I've been really trying to be as supportive to you and others, that you okay, so what, we disagree, that doesn't take away the fact that you care about your family, I care about my family, we both love Bruce, we both want to go as many shows as we want to, there's a lot of things there. And it and we I think that's a really good thing for I think that's very brave of you to go, I need to be better at this. And I try to be too. I know sometimes it's very easy for me. And my biggest thing is the hypocrisy is what concerns me about both the left and the right, is hypocrisy just bothers me. But I respect people that aren't hypocrites, that have, I believe that I have a really good friend. He honestly believes that the Trump administration is the best for the financial health of this country. That's his most important thing. Doesn't care about any social issues, doesn't care about anything else. He is worried about that only. I don't agree with that point, but that's his point. And so I respect your point, because I do know that Israel is our friend,
Thank you.
that it is an important part of this. And there were times, I remember, I can't remember which history teacher, but, and I'm going to get this wrong, but he said, look at your hand. Israel is the fingernail of the thumb in the Middle East. They are surrounded by people that want to kill them. And we aren't going to, and they fight for us and support us. And that struck me, the idea of being around. And my last statement about that, and then we'll move on, is I acknowledge I'm a 66-year-old white guy that grew up mostly in the South. And so I have a perspective, and I will never understand someone who was grown in a Jewish family, an African American, someone from a first generation immigration. I won't ever understand their perspective because I haven't lived that life.
Right.
But this train carries saints and sinners. This train carries whores and gamblers.
All
Yeah.
aboard. So this is what upsets me about the Bruce community. And I'm going to
Yeah.
speak to y'all because I shouldn't have to lie. I'm not going to lie.
No.
People are hiding. There are people who are hiding who they support. What? And I had a really good friend, but I talked to her every single day. And she was the reason I take guitar lessons. And we just have so much in common. And when by some happy accident, she found out who I voted for, she stopped talking to me. And it was really painful. And it was for a really long, we were friends, talked every day for almost like 10 years. And then like it was Thanksgiving, and I think I texted her happy Thanksgiving, and then she texted back happy Thanksgiving, and then slowly but surely. So then we started speaking again, but we never addressed the elephant in the room. It was always, we talked about guitar, both bicycle, and we talked about bicycling.
Yes.
And she used to ski and I ski, and we talked about skiing. And this went on for a couple months. And finally, I said to her, listen, I have to talk to you. And I said, you going away like that really hurt me. And I just couldn't deal with your choice politically. And I needed time to process it. And I'm like, but did you ask me, like, why? Because whether you agree with me or not, let me explain to you some of the things. Like, it's not just Israel, and it's men or boys in women's sports. Maybe it's a little financial, but not really, because like I believe that everyone I believed in peace and love and everyone helping each other out. But I just not sure. I was not very happy with the last administration. I wasn't sure about Biden's competence. But I voted for Hillary. I don't know. It's complicated. And I don't want to get into issue for issue, but I just think I felt that what Bruce did in stating his politics, which again, he has every right to do, I felt that he, instead of making it this train that everybody is accepted on, he alienated me and some of his family. Now, other people were better at compartmentalizing. I know people that said, I don't care what he says, I go to listen to the music.
Yeah.
But had fans wearing Rise Up and this and that, and but if you for a second, if you think about having a different political viewpoint from the guy that you're paying to see and a lot of his supporters that you used I don't know how friend I met a lot of people from this group. There's a couple that I'm really tight with, but all in all, it's acquaintances. But like people judging, they don't really know me. They don't know my heart. You know what I'm
And
saying?
they
Like
don't know your heart. That is the perfect thing. They don't know your heart. And I think that's what's important. I have family that are, they think I'm the weirdo. Linda and I are the weirdos. And
really?
oh, I'm in Texas. Come on. Oh,
Oh, so
I,
you're wow. So you're in a situation where you feel like you're the minority.
oh, I am a very lonely blueberry in a very heavy strawberry
Oh,
patch.
wow.
And
You know what it's like to be in the Bruce community on
yeah,
another having
yeah,
another
it's a,
viewpoint.
and if someone wants to talk to me about it, I will share the facts that I know. The reality is, we're one of the funniest things I heard is back when Bruce did the Jeep commercial for the
Mhm.
Super Bowl. And
Yeah.
first off, he had all the crap about people he sold out, but let's forget all that. And I forgot what commenter said, but he says, nothing tells you how far away we are from having a middle ground that just as many people on the right as the left bitched about Bruce being that concert, that commercial.
Mm.
Tons of people on the left bitched at him. No, I'm not going to find middle ground. You want me to find middle ground with a Nazi? No, hell no. And then the others, no, what's Bruce? He's a millionaire. Why is he telling us how to find middle ground? And it goes back to, you can't judge someone else's heart, and you have to do what you think is best. And as I jokingly said, and I know I'm being silly, but I'm glad you had Bruce sleeping on the couch, but you didn't kick him out of the house altogether.
I think Jesse, like I don't know, man. I don't know how you get me. Like you're really you're very left. I know that, and
Yeah,
it's just you. The left is supposed to be liberal and understanding and accepting, except
yeah,
when it comes to the right.
exactly.
Right?
Right.
I don't understand, but you've been
Yeah,
so
I
good.
do. I
And that's
get
why
it.
I was so appalled because, and now, so I also wanted to stress that if you're anti-Trump and you're a performer, I don't care. I just don't care. But if you're a
Yeah,
performer and you're anti-Israel, that's a deal breaker. And that's where Bruce started the border because of this college issue, this college free speech versus hate speech. But not many people put themselves out there. They just stay quiet.
yeah.
And if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. So a lot of people are like, why are you even, I don't know. Why am I? Because I was just devastated. I was devastated by
When they said sit down, I stood up. And I know your feelings about Rise Up, and I get that. But the reality is, you're standing for what you believe in, and there is nothing wrong with that. Now, if,
giving him up. I'm not going to give. People are like,
yeah,
you're picking Trump over Bruce. Like,
no, you're
no, I'm
not.
picking some policies over
I'm
Bruce.
picking policies. And there are, yes, if a policy is cruel to people, I am against policies that take medicine away from children. I'm against policies that fight against freedom and everyone being able to vote and love and marriage and all this stuff. But everything's complicated.
For gay and
Yeah,
then what happened was like our synagogues where we go to pray, they have become very controversial because they are very left leaning. And one night, I'm gonna just give an example. They had a Shabbat on a Friday night. You go and you pray. So they had a pride Shabbat.
yeah,
Now, am I against gays? Gay people? No. Do I think gays should get married? Yes. Am I pro-choice? Yes. But no, but I don't want to go to synagogue and do social activism. Like when I want to pray, I just want to pray. I don't want to know what
yeah.
anyone's politics are. And
And I
it's so
think
hard to separate that
it
religion.
is hard to, and especially the conservative, the Christian right, have made it very much politics, and it's hard. All right, this was so fascinating. I love that we got a little deep. I'm going to go back here, and I will put some warnings in the show notes that we get political, and I'll tell them if you want to skip that and get back to Bruce, here's the point.
Wait, can I just say to people that support Bruce in the
Yeah.
community,
Yeah.
like, why can't we? I don't know. Like, why can't we just focus on that? Even though I know where he is, everybody welcome on this train. Would Bruce still welcome me on his train?
Absolutely, he would.
You think so?
I have not a doubt, because after the first election with President Trump, he said we need to address the reasons why some of these people, some of our citizens, had a need to vote for him because of their circumstances. They felt like that was the right choice. And I think we continue to that. I think we need to address the problem, and the problem we have is we're not joining hands to solve them together. And that's, yes, I think he's I think he is speaking against this president and his policies, but not against you, and not necessarily every policy. And I think we're and we are
But
all
just like you
Catholics.
said, I totally love what you said. That here's the problem. Like you did it with the guns.
We want
You
peace in the Middle East. We
how
want
can we? Yeah,
innocent people on both sides to be able to live happily. And we want the people who are fighting against peace to not have the power. I get it.
I've heard.
What'd you think of the Lost? What do you think of the tracks too?
Let me just tell you that tracks two. I haven't been through all of it. There's a couple songs that really hit me. First of all, Follow That Dream. That was like that was it. That was my all-time favorite
Yeah,
cover of his, and it
yeah,
starts with that. Can't you tell I'm in the dreams and making dreams, chasing
exactly.
after them? And so that was Follow That Dream, and then my husband sent me a song, which he's generally really quiet, but my husband he sent me. Of course, I don't. He sent me this song. We were on the beach, and he said he sent this to me. He was listening to tracks one, and he sent me. Oh my god, I really want to tell you this song, so I'm going to keep going, keep scrolling. It was amazing that he sent this to me. It was such a pretty song. Oh my god, boy, he got. Oh here, he sent me this song. Wait, I'm gonna. What is this song? Why isn't it telling me the name of it? Tell me if you know it. Did you listen to all of it?
I don't know him well enough yet.
Oh. Then anyway, he sent me this beautiful song, and I sent Another
Yes,
You. Here it is. Another You, and I sent him You Lifted Me Up.
that's awesome. That's so awesome.
So that's it. He does have. I like when he does talk about men and women relationships because that's pretty
Yeah.
complicated.
I've really enjoyed The Faithless, the soundtrack of the Western, that
Oh yeah, yeah.
a spiritual Western. In fact, there's one song on there. I'm drawing a blank on the name, but when I heard it, I sent it to my sister. My sister is a very strong woman of faith, has had some rough times lately. And I sent her, and she sent back a text going that I needed to hear that. It's Bruce. And you know how they have that Jesus, he gets us? Bruce, he gets us, right? And he does. And I'm glad that you own Land of Hope and Dreams. He can't take that away from you. And I'm proud of that. And I'm
Thank you.
proud to call you my friend.
Thank you, Jesse. I'm really proud to call you my friend too.
All right. So before I get you out of here, and you've already answered this, but Jay Armstrong is an honors English teacher, now retired. But when he was teaching, he would give his students the lyrics to Thunder Road. and they
Wow.
would read it as if it was a poem, discussing the imagery and the themes Bruce explores in that song. And he would ask his class, do you think Mary gets in the car? So, Judy, do you think Mary gets in the car?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Very nice. I appreciate that. Any final thoughts before I let you go?
No, just Springsteen community. We just let everyone on the train.
Everyone's on the train.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so
You
that's
know,
all I ask.
everything's on the train, and I absolutely adore that. And I end every podcast with be safe, be kind. And I think that's what we need to do more of. We need to do just a little bit more of being kind to each other.
Like yelling and spewing and Facebook, like keyboard warriors. Like it's
Yeah.
just I'm guilty of it too. It just you don't
Oh,
like
I am
people.
too. Sometimes I
You
am
just get
too.
so the best remedy for anger is delay. Just and again to just remember that we really are all in this together. I think we all want the same things, just different ideas about getting there. And if you just can't generalize and just say, I don't know. There's got to be
Yeah.
middle. Got to
Yeah.
find a middle.
Thank you, my friend. You're welcome anytime. I hope to see you in Serenade, and I'm going to hug your neck.
Even though we're
Doesn't matter.
hey,
Doesn't matter. This train, baby. We
this
love it
train.
all,
All
right?
right. Love you, Jess.
Besides, you called me a Minch, which is awesome. So,
Definitely.
I love you. You have a
All right.
great
Take
night.
care. And you're going to have a lot to edit.
Okay, that's okay.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.